Boom, 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 boom. So our signal for today, that is what actually we analyzed early in the morning. You can see our entry. This is now what we call a sniper entry here, because you can see our entry is 48. The market decided to go all the way to 45. Just a slide of $3 and then we are up. This is nice. This is great. This is great. This is great. Now, this is what actually our analysis just gave us today. That was actually a sniper one. Wow, this is great. But you can see the breakout that we are waiting to see from this market. Absolutely, how it just happened. It's just happened in a magic. So this is amazing. This is amazing. So are we really heading to the place that we are really talking about? That is what I want us to really check here. And before now we proceed on this, because the reason I'm just decided to come here so that we can highlight different levels here, because already the market has obtained the direction that we are waiting for, and now we can really analyze and see what we is this really market going to the places that we are really talking about, because there's a very big gap that has been created in this market. There's a very big gap that has been created, especially here. If you look at this so well, you realize that this market actually within just 1 hour it has come from 54 all the way to 78. That's almost $24 move up. So that's incredible, right? And remember our morning analysis through the video that we were live here some few hours ago. We were saying about the breakout here, and we were talking about if this candle is actually going to close inside this area here, of which if it actually closed around this area here, then this market actually could have actually reversed. But you see the breakout that you're waiting here, actually this market has actually made that breakout. So that was very nice. So that was actually very amazing. So that must actually be a sniper entry here, because I think I was pleading with you to buy. So I don't know the people who bought from this. Personally, let me show you, because I actually decided even to buy as the market was actually ending all the way down. Let me show you my entries, because I think I have 46. I have bought at 46, and that is 0.33. I'm bought at that, so that is great. But you can see the mass market is actually ending. So where are we ending to? Where are we ending to? There's someone who is asking me to check on the USDJPY. We're going to check that right now. Remember, we always switch. We can actually, most of the time we switch between the two. So let's see, where are we ending to? Because this is amazing. This is amazing. I have this is big. This is big, but remember morning I closed negative $100, so I'm going to look at that. You can actually calculate, because I see my entries here is 42.47, 42.47 and 42.46. Those are my entries, and lot size I used here is 0.11, 0.11 and 0.11. So those are my lot size that I used here. So where is this market ending to? Because I think we are ending here. So you see this position here that we have 43.09. I want to this market to come to that point, then I'm going to close immediately. This market touches 43. Immediately we touch around 43.90 something, 98. I'm going to close there, and then we are going to open new positions. But I'm going really to observe this as the market approaches those levels. It's going to be very important here. That is what I'm going to check so well here. Those levels are very important as the market is now approaching those zones. That's what you see now. This is what we're talking about. After this breakout, because already now the market is breaking out. This was actually very simple, because we started with the candlesticks here. Now, where's this market ending? This market is absolutely ending to 43. Okay, and it's not of must for it to touch 43. That's why I'm talking about, because you're in the 42.90. So I'm going to close any time from now. That is 42, around 42.02. That is why I'm going to close at 42.02. So once not 42, 42.98 Yeah, we are already at 42.93. So once the market actually approaches around 98 here, I'm going to close, because anytime now we actually going to be having this great move when the market actually comes here. Now, it's not that we are going to sell when this market approaches that zone there. No. Number one, so let me even reduce the lot size here. So I've closed around 500. So let me just be left with 2. There's some reasons here I'm talking about that, because you see there is very big gaps that are being created here, and there's a possibility the market can actually revisit here. You see this zone, that the reason we talk about the breakout is because once the market actually breaks the zone, there's likelihood for the market to come retest that zone before now it ends to the original direction. So this market, that is the reason I'm actually reducing the positions here. But the same thing that you actually have to understand is that this market is coming here. This market is coming here. Now, the problem we have with so many people normally who chase the market, there's some people who are actually going to like buy here, and they forget that these gaps, there is high possibility they can actually be filled with this market, which is actually having a possibility before even this market touches here. Maybe it can actually even come down to 75, for which so many people lose money. So those are things that you really have to observe. Now, for those who are planning to have entry, let's just observe this 43. Okay, let's just observe 43 around this area here. So once this market touches 43, we're going to observe how the candles are actually going to be behaving around that area, that is considering the lowest time frame, like 15-minute time frame. That is the number one what we are going to be checking here in this market. And once it's actually touches here, we will be moving to 15-minute time frame to see how the closing and opening of the candles are actually going to behave around that corner, around this area here. And you can see we are actually about there. So there's a gap that was not filled here, that you see this is round one, actually signifying that the possibility the market actually can sell towards this area. That's how I'm talking about people normally rush to buy when they see the market is moving. When they see the market going to this direction, they rush to buy, others rush to sell. No, let's just wait for this market to approach here. But anytime from now, 93 here, that's why I'm reducing my positions now, because there is a gap here that tells us now we can start selling from here. But my point is here. That is my target, and that is why I'm targeting to around 43, 42.98, 43. 4,300. So once the market reaches to that point, we are going to look at the candles now. It's not just matters of like just buying there. No, we just are going to observe. It's the same thing if we and observe. For those who missed this, because we are predicting the breakout here, you just look at the breakout that actually happened with this candle. Now, the moment that candle just start, which was around 80 here, you could have actually opened the position. You can see now the market is proceeding to move. Let's just give it time. There's someone who was asking me to check on USD JPY. What are we talking about? There is something that we are talking about on the USD JPY. Let me see whether I can just remember, because I think I gave a signal. I gave a signal towards that. Yeah, that is what we were talking about. Yeah. So on USD JPY, this is how the market was actually moving. There is a first breakout that actually happened here. And that's why we were talking about a possibility for this market to test this region here, which is around 150. And remember, we were talking about that one when the market was absolutely 800. And let's see what is going to be happening, or what is going to be closing inside this kind of, if this is going to be closing, because you can see the market is just ranging around this area here. So if there are going to be a possibility for this market probably to be moving all the way just throughout this corner here, is absolutely going to be amazing. So once this market touches this point, there's a possibility for it to just move on the upper side. But as you can see from these like 3 hours ago, I don't know what really happened here, because you can see there's a big move. I really don't know whether we were live at that time when this market actually dropped to 152.78, because that red flag as well. Because if this market moved to this corner here, if this market and remained above 500 here, then we could actually been very sure that this market was to end all the way to 150, 181. But with this kind of that meant this big move here, the buyers can actually conclude that this market might actually not be revisiting this zone here. So with this candle that actually formed and made this market to move all the way to 278, a possibility maybe the market actually might not revisit this zone again, but this likelihood, because this zone, remember, does not been visited, so we are not to fill this gap here. So there's possibility the market actually might visit this again, which is around 150.08. But that's why you can see there's some range here that is really happening with this candle here. Buyers and sellers are really fighting here, so we can actually wait to see, is there a break that's going to happen, or is really going to be happening across that zone, is going to be very important. That's so I'm going to be checking on the USD JPY. So if you see this market crossing over 800 there, then just know it's absolutely going to be ending on the top. So what do we have here? So market already touching 40, and has it touched 40? Yeah, so we already touched 43, so it has already touched 42.99, so we are in at 42.99. 42.99. So 42.99, I have already closed some, so I'm going to close another one and just be left with one, which is 500. So this is a big day. It's a big day, a very good signal that I was just pleading with you to buy there. Yeah, just look at that. The reason I've just closed my position right there, so that's what I'm saying. Market can absolutely reface it and break out here, which is around even 70 or 80s before even we proceed. But if this market just listen to this, so if it is actually going to revisit this zone, so if this market revisit this zone and they start moving up, just know that this is not going to be a selling point here. We're not going to have a sell across this zone here, because the market actually is going to move up all the way to 43.80s, probably even 44 that it failed to touch. So that is what we are really purposing to have around that area here. So that is one big thing that we really have. That is one really big thing that we really have here in terms of the gold. So with that position closed, I'm going to just let's give it time, because to touch around 43, but I think we already touched 42.92. I've closed to my positions, just being left with just one. Okay, just left with one. So if this market touches this area here, so listen again so that you may be observing that. So if this candle here is going to take us to 43.07 around here, which is around 43.04, then there's possibility that it's going to sell again all the way down. But if this market reverses to the breakout here around 42.74, where we end this zone here, then there's a possibility this market is actually going even to break out throughout and move all the way up, and is going to penetrate throughout. So that is what can actually happen to the gold right now, and that is what I'm expecting to see from this market, right? Wow, now we are touching the region. Let's see now, because we are going to close now. The TP is going to be hit, and we are going to go. So that's wonderful, eh? That's wonderful. So I'm going to delete this so that we can go to the original plan and see whether we have just, you see, that is now, that is 45 now. The TP is 8, so I did not place the TP here, so the TP has been hit, and that's nice. So what next now? What next? Let's see whether we can have. I'm going to delete this so that we can at least have some another one. Whether we can check this market, whether it's going to be moving down, and this is amazing. Just look at that. I'm going to have this. All right. Okay. What? Let's see. 0.1, 0.1. It's penetrating through. Okay, 28. Let's see whether we can have small retracement before it continues to move on the upper side. Let's see whether I believe it actually will try to move. Otherwise, we're actually going to 17, of which if it crosses 10, I'm going to close, because I think it might be ending all the way throughout. So I'm going to close around 10, because if it does that means we are crossing the lines, and the market actually is going to move to us all the way up. Let's see. So I can have the final. So let me assume the entry. Let's assume me, but the entry around that area here actually maximum to, let me see again, the possibility move. We are already there. So in case we cross that line, that means the market actually might be ending all the way up. Yo, let's see what is happening. Let me check. 43. Oh, I said I will be closing at that, so let me close 50%. I'll close 50%. So I thought the market actually can just, like, it's going to break. So let me just break 50%. 50%. What this region here usually see a maximum of 15, 7, 23. 23, I mean, like 23. Let's see, 23. So this is another one. So 23, I'm going to place it here. 20, this is 33. I'm going to have 20 there. Okay. And then another one around 82. So that will be 2.5. That will be amazing. So yeah. So that's not bad. That's not bad though. So that's not bad. Let's see. So I'm crossing to 15-minute time frame. I'm crossing to 15-minute time frame. I'm highlighting my entries, which is here. The exit, and the entry for you. That is on. So we give it time and see, are we really going to cross this? I think Hunt and Harley on this. Anyway, when it crosses 26, $100 move, that will be still okay. I'm still being profit. But in case we move down there, today is going to be bigger. Let's see. Patience. This is risky though. This one is risky, not there like the other one I was pleading with you to enter. This one is risky. So the percentage of this is risky. So I will normally give you the percentages. This one is risk entry. This is a risky entry. But if this market start moving, just know there's absolutely likely on to move around probably 79. It's around almost 79. That is the area that we might be ending to. That is the zone that we might be getting to. So 16. That is the area that we might be getting to. So if it crosses around here, just know I'm going to, okay, I'm closing 50%. $50 down, but already we closed over thousands of them. Yeah, so that's the last one. Let's see with the move here. That was bigger. Big bear theory. Someone is asking, do I really trade gold alone? I don't trade really gold alone, so I don't even encourage you to trade gold alone all the time. We always check JPY pairs, and for those who have been here, they know. Is the problem is when we compare to the currency pairs and this, we normally get like you can get several signals on the gold compared to other currencies because the market is moving fast. You see, the market is moving fast, so you end up getting many signals compared to the currencies because we are waiting to see where the market is going to take us on USD JPY. So with that, gold will have moved like several times. We will have several moves before we get absolutely that. We get that. So before we are there, actually the market will have moved to some big. Yeah. Okay. When you make let's say you make $1,000, that is net. That is not, that is gross profit. That is gross. Okay. The net profit is when you combine everything, like you are going to combine all of them at the end of it. There is some breaking news going on, the big move that is making the prices of gold to hit. Let me see, I'm following on some news here. I'll give you the update. See this sharpness here. I'm talking about this sharpness that you see. So there's likelihood gold actually will revisit below 43 before you proceed on the upper side. Okay, before we replace it, we'll say what yes, we ending to 19. Okay, I'm very sure probably we're going to hit stop loss, but that will be around $100 of $20. But already we made big money here, so we tried. That was funny. 22, 23, we close. Already this market showing the signs to move here. So the next area that market is going to target is here. So with that, but it cannot really move like direct how it is moving. There is a point where it is actually going to come down before we proceed to move on the upper side. It's only that with that sharpness, I think it's going to be some downs before we move. Okay, so there's this war between China and USA that is going on, right? So AU nations strike deal to ban Russia gas by the end of 2027. What? Seriously, 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 seriously. This is US 12, okay? I don't know how many actually trend silver because I end up seeking for silver as well today. Yeah, but the higher prices is really moving down. Commodities. So commodities for the gas. You see that's flashing. So we are here on the gold. I know so many people are following on the gold, and that is what I'm talking about. So we are almost to hit this, and if we are going to break this, the possibility for 43.73. But remember, when we hit 43.73, expect 44. Expect 44. But from what I see, long term, I think just look at this sharp. Of course, this market is going to try and move down. So every time this market in case going to actually create new high, I'm going to sell. I'm going to find sales on the gold. Whether it makes new highs, I'm going to sell. So I'm going to find selling points. I know so many people have been buying gold for a long time, but on my side, I'm on buying positions and I'm going to buy gold for long. I'm going absolutely to buy, to sell, I mean, as the market keeps moving up. But unless I'm not talking about selling like 43.18 where the market is right now. I'm talking about if the market actually touches 44, that will be actually a good point to sell the market, because I know the analyst predicting that the gold actually can hit 5,000 possible. Yeah, are possible for that. So that's good. So 17, let's see. Why are you? Did you fail to touch? Have you failed to touch my stop loss here? Because I see you, but don't. But don't joke with God. It I can actually hit within seconds, and you are out. Yeah, but with that, I'm really going to close my position. I don't know, but I think this market is actually going to move down, probably below 4300 again. I think we are going to go below 4300. So even before anything else. So that is the point I might be getting that market moving. Wow, now you see the prices are really moving so good right there. So let me see on 15-minute time frame. What do we have here? So you see now it's really trying to flash here, but I don't think this is actually going to go far. Probably 48, 4308. That is where we are going to end to. This one is probably going to 4380. So the position I opened earlier, which here I'm going to just close almost half of it again, and I'm going to just observe now the prices whether they're going to move all the way to 4375. But I said there's no 4375, because once the market actually be touching that area, that means that we are actually going to end all the way to creating the market, creating all ATH. We are going to 8H for the gold, and once actually we get that zone, remember what I said, that on the highest time frame, when we actually even go to the weekly time frame, the possibility for this market, look at how actually been trending on the upper side for 9 weeks. I think now this is the 10th week, so a probability for this market actually ending all the way here, and we're going to get this market reversing so big here. But you can see this candle actually creating something just like that, so which means the more I get new highs, the more I actually have possibility for selling in this market. So in case we end all the way up, then I'm going to start selling, and I'm going to actually be using small lot size, and one of its selling point is actually going even to be 43.75. So my selling point is 43.75, and I'm going to be focusing on a big move here that is going to be happening in this market, and the other one is going to be around 44.13, around 44, if we actually be approaching 43.90 something. So from when this market actually touches around 43.75, I'm going to start selling. It's going to be a sell all the way through down, so I'm going to start selling. This is just a short one. This is just for scalping, because I'm going to close. It's going to close anytime now. It's either going to hit the stop loss here. I don't really care about that because you're already done with it. So, but the biggest one, it's actually coming when the market actually touches 43.74. Remember, I always tell you these crashes. The first one, remember, we sold 43.63 on Friday. We sold the market on 43.63 on Friday. And there's a bigger one that is actually coming up, which probably when the market touches there, I'll start selling again. And that is going to now be a long time. Probably we're going to hold towards the end of the month. But make sure that you're using the broker that does not have so much of changes, especially to the night holding or the weekend, because I know some of them, they're actually going to do not this good for you. Now, because now this was section 2, and we were just reviewing this, make sure that you join us 10 a.m. tomorrow, 10 a.m. exactly the same time. For those who are joining, that was just an emergency call, so make sure that you are here again tomorrow 10 a.m. Let's keep observing the gold. In case of any other signal that we'll be getting from this market, opening, closing, I'll be here. I'll tell you what we really have to do about that. Okay.